अस्सलाम वालेकुम एवरीवन। सो रिसेंटली मैंने एक वीडियो बनाई थी ऑन दी बेस्ट पेमेंट मेथड्स फॉर फ्रीलांसर्स इन पाकिस्तान, और उसके अंदर मैंने रेकमेंड किया था कि अगर आपको बाहर से पेमेंट आ रही है तो यू शुड ट्राई पेयोनियर बिकॉज दैट्स व्हाट आई हैव बीन यूजिंग फॉर मैनी ईयर्स नाउ। सो आप लोगों के बहुत से सवाल थे रिलेटेड टू पेयोनियर, सो आई गॉट इन टच विद पेयोनियर एंड आस्क्ड देम कि अगर मैं आपके किसी रिप्रेजेंटेटिव से ये सवाल पूछना चाहूँ ताकि हमें एक ऑफिशियल जवाब आपके सवाल का मिले पेयोनियर ही की तरफ से, एंड दे गॉट मी इन टच विद Miss Affaf Noor, who is the partnerships manager at Payoneer. So इस वीडियो में I'm going to be interviewing Miss Affaf Noor और asking those commonly asked questions जो आप लोगों ने Payoneer के बारे में किए थे. Also अगर आप Payoneer के लिए साइन अप करना चाहें तो इस वीडियो की डिस्क्रिप्शन में साइन अप लिंक है, और अगर आप उससे साइन अप करेंगे तो जब भी आपके अकाउंट में $1000 की ट्रांजैक्शन हो जाएगी उसके बाद यू विल गेट अ $25 बोनस. सो यू कैन चेक दैट आउट एज वेल. विदाउट फर्दर अडू वीडियो की तरफ चलते हैं.
Assalamu alaikum, Affaf. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me here, Khalil. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
Good. Alhamdulillah. Thank you.
So we've been building up to this video for a very long time, and finally we've been able to do this. काफी जब मैंने वो video लगाई on the different payment methods that one can use as a freelancer in Pakistan, especially अगर आपको international payments receive करनी हो. So I really back Payoneer because that is what I have been using for years now. But उसपे काफी सवाल थे लोगों के, और we decided to do this FAQ video so that we can address those concerns and maybe offer some solutions if you're confused somewhere. So ये वाली जो video है इसमें we will be addressing those. So before we do that, Affaf, can you just give a quick intro about who you are and what you do at Payoneer?
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Khalil. So I am Affaf. I'm the partnerships manager for Payoneer in Pakistan. I look after all sorts of banking partnerships, all institutional partnerships with different corporates and different ecosystem players that we have. So I've been with Payoneer for quite some time now, and in my experience, I've seen that there are so many issues that our freelancers face with regards to bringing in money from across the world in Pakistan. There are primarily because there are very limited options that we have, and the options that we do have, unme bhi kafi issues aate hain logon ko. So what we're trying to do here at Payoneer is that we're trying to resolve each and every issue that there is that a potential and active freelancer can face, and we're trying to build an ecosystem where you don't have to worry about bringing payments from either marketplaces, just Upwork hai, Fiverr hai, और भी बहुत सारी marketplaces हैं, or even if you're doing अगर आप directly अपनी individual जो है वो services provide कर रहे हैं cross border, तो उसके लिए भी we have a range of products, and we are just trying to work with the local industry players like Jazz Cash and Faisal Bank, for example, to give you that ease of bringing in cross-border payments. And yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I'm really glad that I do have you here in this video, because अगर मैं इसको बना रहा होता, obviously that would just be me explaining my experience. But having you here is great because we have somebody from Payoneer who can answer these questions directly, which is awesome. So we can get started with the questions if you're ready.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, perfect. So the first question that we have is, can we create a Payoneer account without a local Pakistani bank account? इसका थोड़ा सा मैं एक background देता चलूँ, because as a freelancer, I know it can be quite difficult to get your bank account opened in Pakistan, especially अब आके I feel like banks are recognizing freelancing as a thing. I do understand उनके end पे it's a bit difficult because the money trail and all gets a bit difficult to manage with freelancing अगर banks के end पे देखें. But a lot of people are freelancing but are struggling to get their bank accounts created. So क्या कोई ऐसी option है कि वो लोग without a local Pakistani bank account अपने Payoneer में पैसे receive कर सकें, उसका account create कर सकें?
Right. So actually, this is a question that we get a lot from different sources, and we've been trying to cater to this. You can so अगर आप Payoneer की website से या Payoneer की application से अपना account बना रहे हैं, so you can't sign up without a bank account. right? But of course, I think most of the people here know that we have a very strong relationship with JazzCash. And अगर आप JazzCash में से sign up कर रहे हैं तो you don't need any other bank account. आपका JazzCash का जो wallet है वो automatically link हो जाता है with your Payoneer account, and that's sufficient. So if you don't have we highly encourage that you go and open a bank account, because if you are a serious freelancer, you would at some point in time need a bank account. But agar for whatever reason that is not possible, JazzCash is the way to go. आप JazzCash की application में जाएं, click on join Payoneer, and you'll be able to do that.
So yeah, that sounds good, and I completely agree with it. Even जो वीडियो मैंने बनाई भी थी on different payment methods for receiving freelancing payments, उसमें मैंने mention भी किया था कि eventually you will need a bank account. Like there's no other way around it. But I mean, if you're starting out this, it's good that Payoneer does have that option कि आप JazzCash के through भी अपना account बना सकते हैं. All right, so
and just to add on to this, so जिस तरह Faisal Bank के साथ भी हमारी partnership है, and you're going to soon hear about more banks as well. So we are really trying to push banks as well to make it easier for freelancers to open their accounts, and hopefully fingers crossed that we'll be able to जिस तरह अभी कुछ banks हैं जो accept कर लेते हैं आपकी Upwork की statement, कुछ नहीं करते. So we're really trying that at least our partner banks, they play their part and help in building this freelancing ecosystem with us together, and they start opening more freelancing accounts.
That's great to hear. Like I can vouch for that because I have multiple bank accounts in different banks. It used to be a lot more difficult a few years ago to get a bank account opened. If you were a freelancer, it is slowly but steadily starting to get easier, and banks are starting to recognize it. So that's a really good thing, and I think Payoneer is playing an important part here. So yeah, so the next question that we're going on to is how much does Payoneer charge for payments? So agar, for example, आपने Payoneer में, so how it usually works is कि Payoneer में आपने payment receive की from a client, let's say, और उसके बाद now does the client have to pay any charges for that? और अगर मैं उस payment को access करना चाहता हूँ, for example $50 है मेरे account में और $50 मैं अपने local bank account में transfer कराना चाहता हूँ, so what does the fee look like for both of these cases?
Right. So receiving money in Payoneer for most cases, especially in freelancers के case में, it's completely free. There are certain products of Payoneer जिसमें there is a 1% fee charge होती है for receiving funds into your account, but for the sake of marketplace payments, there is no fee that Payoneer charges on that, and for most cases, it is absolutely free of cost. Once you have, let's say आपने $50 की बात की है, once you have those $50 in your account, when you are transferring those to your local bank account, वहाँ पर Payoneer जो है वो as such कोई fees नहीं charge होती. It's just that जो payment processing fee है, which is inclusive of the bank charges, which is inclusive of the Payoneer service charges, that is 2%. So 2% भी not on the usually वो buy sell का rate जो है वो चल रहा होता है. Payoneer is charging that 2% on the mid market rate, which is generally much better than what the banks are charging anyway. So yeah, it's 2% when you're transferring your funds from your Payoneer account to any local bank account. 2% of the mid market rate.
Yeah. So just to give an example, because I'm a freelancer and I personally work on Upwork. So उसमें what the cost usually is for me is कि अगर Upwork से मैं पैसे उतरवा रहा हूँ तो $2 Upwork charges on their end. So not Payoneer. Upwork charges on their end $2 to get however much amount I want into my bank into my Payoneer account. So वो $100 भी हो सकते हैं, वो $10,000 भी हो सकते हैं. It will be $2. और फिर उसके बाद that's the 2% fee that you mentioned just now. अगर मैं Payoneer से अपने local bank account में उतरवाना चाह रहा हूँ पैसे, so I have to pay 2% for that. But even then, honestly, I've tried different methods of receiving money into my local bank account. I've even tried, or especially I would like to hear what you have to say on this, because people do have that option कि वो Upwork से या Fiverr से directly अपने local bank account में भी पैसे डलवा सकते हैं. And a lot of people who haven't tried it would say, wouldn't it be much easier and much more cost effective अगर मैं directly उतरवा लूं अपने bank account में as compared to say मैं Payoneer के through मंगवाऊं. But what my experience has been is कि जब आप directly अपने बैंक में उतरवाते हैं, number one, it takes a lot of time, especially if your bank isn't used to getting those international, home remittances into your account. और दूसरा, the rate is often much less as compared to अगर आप let's say उसको Payoneer में convert करवाते हैं और फिर उसके बाद वहां से बैंक account में करते हैं. So, but on your front, what do you have to say on this?
Yeah, definitely. So just like you said, obviously, there is that option, but it is if you compare the rates, both the options yourself, you would find that this is much more cost effective. Also, इसमें एक और भी I'd like to mention कि because Payoneer, अभी मैंने जो last बात mention की थी कि 2% जो है वो mid market rate पर charge हो रहा होता है, right? And as most of you would know कि पाकिस्तान में डॉलर की जो situation है, that is really volatile. Every day we are seeing spikes. So when you are taking funds, withdrawing funds from Payoneer to your local bank account, you also have that flexibility कि आपको लग रहा है कि आज इतना रेट बेहतर नहीं है, कल ज़्यादा बेहतर होगा तो आप कल विड्रॉ कर लें. You have that flexibility. But अगर आप directly अपने बैंक अकाउंट में कर रहे हैं, and on top of that, you know how much exactly is Payoneer charging when you are withdrawing. आपको पता है कि इतने USD हैं और उसके अगेंस्ट इतने PKR आपके अकाउंट में रिफ्लेक्ट होंगे. When you are withdrawing directly to your bank account, you don't have any visibility there. आपको नहीं पता कि वो पैसे firstly कब आपके अकाउंट में पहुंचेंगे, इतने USD के कितने आपको जो है वो रुपीस बनकर आपके अकाउंट में रिफ्लेक्ट होंगे. You have no idea how much the bank is going to charge on that transaction. वो clarity जो है unfortunately, very very unfortunately हमारे local banks जो है वो नहीं देते. And sometimes I don't mean to scare any of the budding freelancers, but sometimes these transactions also get stuck at the bank. Khalil, you would know if sometimes the bank would call you कि ये payment आपकी कहाँ से आ रही है, or why is this payment coming to you, and then they might even call you to sign a few forms and stuff like that. So yeah, so when it's coming through Payoneer, उनके पास tagged होता है that this money is against IT exports, and this is so we have an entire system in place, and 99.9% of the times you don't have to face any issues there. So yeah, there's that, and I think this also links to another question that Khalil, maybe we can bump up that question of how much time it takes for a payment to reflect in your bank account. So if you are bringing in money through Payoneer, it ideally it takes for any bank in Pakistan. So you can link your Payoneer with any of the 31 banks that we have in Pakistan. Usme it takes around 4 to 6 hours. We quote that it takes 24 to 48 hours just to avoid any sorts of issues. But mostly आपके अपने experience में अगर if you are a regular freelancer, you would know कि वो 4 से 6 घंटे के अंदर payment आपके account में आ जाती है. But officially we try to maintain the statement that it takes 24 to 48 hours. But अगर आप हमारे partner banks के through जो है वो withdraw कर रहे हैं, which is Jazz Cash and Faisal Bank, this is real time. जिस वक्त आपने payment जो है वो push की है from your Payoneer to your Faisal Bank or Jazz Cash account, or pull payment की है from within their application, it is going to be reflected right away. So yeah, I mean the time and ease of doing that transaction, and even the cost in most cases is much it's an efficient way as compared to directly taking money from Fiverr or Upwork into your local bank accounts.
Yeah, I can definitely vouch for that. In fact, अगर मैं अपना experience share करूँ, so I have bank accounts in 2 different banks, or one of them, I'm not sure if I can take any names here, but generally one of them takes about half an hour to receive the payment, और फिर जो दूसरे वाला, it used to take a lot more, and then जो दूसरे वाला, that is Fast Bank. It used to take a lot of time there, which is why I stopped getting my funds into Festival Bank. But then Payoneer or Festival Bank agreement hua, and now it's instantaneous, as you mentioned. It's real time. Like as soon as मैं अगर पैसे उतरवा रहा हूँ Payoneer से, it directly would start to show in my Festival Bank account. So definitely the time itself, I feel like अगर आप Upwork या Fiverr से directly भी उतरवाते हैं, more often than not, it's going to take a lot more than 4 or 6 hours. Or banking calls, which is quite unfortunate. I don't mind receiving calls, but it's like अगर मैंने ये महीने में 5 दफा करना है, I'm now going to be bothered 5 times every month for receiving those calls. So it's inconvenient, I think. So yeah, so we can move on to the next question now.
Yeah.
Which is some freelancers have their request a payment option blocked. So Payoneer के अंदर there's this option to request a payment directly from a client, और फिर अगर आप वो option use करते हैं, वो form fill out करते हैं, तो client को आपके behalf पे email जाता है कि for example Khalilullah Khan is requesting a payment for जितनी भी आपकी payment होती है, and then client के पास options हैं to clear that payment through a number of different ways. कुछ लोगों की वो ऑप्शन ब्लॉक होती है. सो पहली बात तो ये कि वो क्यों होती है, सो दैट पीपल कैन अवॉइड दैट इन फ्यूचर, और सेकेंडली क्या कोई तरीका है कि जिसके थ्रू वो रीइंस्टेट हो सकती है ऑप्शन?
अच्छा, सो इसमें यू आस्क एन इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन कि वो ब्लॉक क्यों होती है. Before going to that, I would say कि some for default में वो most accounts की option enabled नहीं होती है, because this option is enabled either on a request basis. आप helpline को contact करें और उनसे कहें कि I would like to request a payment from my supplier, my buyer or whatever, and ये please मेरी option activate कर दें, और वो आपसे maybe they'll ask you to fill a form and they will वो आपकी option जो है वो activate कर देंगे. Why do they ask these questions? That is because we need to make sure कि ये जो आप payment request करने लगे हैं, this is against a business, and this is not your you're not sending this to your friend sitting in US and you want to get $100 from him and you just send him a request for payment. That is Payoneer is not the right route for it. So इसमें वो आपसे आपके business के related जो है वो कुछ questions पूछते हैं. For some accounts, sign up के वक्त ही वो इतनी information provide कर देते हैं which is sufficient for this, और automatically उनकी वो जो ये वाली option है वो enable होती है. But some accounts they जो नहीं provide करते आप हमारी पूरी verification at the time of sign up, उनके लिए ये necessary होता है कि they call the helpline, they request them to enable their request a payment option, and after filling the form their option is enabled. The second question you ask कि कुछ लोगों की जो है वो blocked क्यों होती है ये option. अगर तो मैं आपको अगर तो आपकी enabled ही नहीं थी कभी भी, तो that means कि आपने sufficient verification information नहीं दी है, आप वो देंगे तो आपकी enable हो जाएगी. But if you had it active earlier और अब आपको नजर आ रहा है कि आपकी वो option block हो गई है, तो उसके multiple reasons हो सकते हैं. Primary reason उसका ये है कि while you were requesting the payment, or once you've done it और आपकी payment वहाँ से आई है, तो हमारे जो payment review department है उन्होंने they have suspected कि this is not a business payment, this is a personal payment that is coming through, and you're misusing this service, and they block it. सही है. So अगर तो आपको लगता है कि this was wrongly blocked, या आपने जो है वो उनको ये it was your business payment that was coming in, please reach out to support. You can email them, you can chat with them in the application, you can call them, and they will resolve your issue, and they'll enable it again. But just to be very very clear कि this is just for business payments. आपको invoice जो है वो साथ attach करनी पड़ती है. If it is not a business payment, highly likely है कि वो payment भी reject हो जाएगी, and then your account is flagged as a suspicious account, and वो आपकी जो है वो service block हो जाती है. I hope that helps.
Yeah, that was quite clear. Or I think it's important to emphasize that Payoneer is not a solution for receiving payments from friends and family. It is a business solution. अगर आप कहीं आप services provide कर रहे हैं, उसके लिए आप Payoneer इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं. But as we just mentioned, you can't use Payoneer for receiving money from friends or family. So yeah, I think that needs to be emphasized on as well. अच्छा, so जो अगला सवाल था that I wanted to ask was कि जब पेनियर अकाउंट बना रहे होते हैं उस टाइम पे you need to fill out a form, और बीच में भी like if अगर बन चुका है अकाउंट, sometimes Payoneer may ask you for information, and sometimes Payoneer asks for the link to some page, कोई वेब पेज या कोई वेब एड्रेस जहाँ पे जाकर वो वेरीफाई कर सकें कि आप क्या काम या सर्विसेज प्रोवाइड करते हैं. So उस केस में what can this web page be? For example, can it be a portfolio website जहाँ पे मेरी services की details हों, मैं कौन हूँ, मेरी details हों? Can it be my Upwork or Fiverr profile या कोई भी और marketplace? Maybe can it be like a Facebook page जहाँ पे मैं अपनी services offer करता हूँ? What works and what doesn't?
Yeah, any of these works actually, Khalil, but इसमें ये है कि just make sure. A lot of people put in their profile link, but they don't make their profile public. So it would then that of course is not sufficient if it is not a public profile. You can definitely give links to your freelancing websites. आप अपने Upwork, Fiverr की profiles के links भी दे सकते हैं if that's where you're offering your services. But just make sure that you have set your privacy settings as public, so that when our review department is going through your through your profile, उनकी verification के लिए it's a public profile and it's not they are able to see it basically.
All right, yeah, I think that's quite sufficient. Last जो सवाल है that I wanted to end with was, for example, अगर मेरे Payoneer account में funds available हैं और I want to get a hold of those funds because obviously तो वो मुझे वहाँ पे reflect हो रहे हैं, but I don't have them physically in my hand. So अगर मुझे cash चाहिए है, what options do I have for using those funds from my Payoneer account जो कि USD में reflect होते हैं more often than not?
Yeah, okay, so इसमें the easy answer is कि आप उसको अपने local bank account के साथ जो है वो link करें, उसमें transfer करें. Our suggestion is कि हमारे partner banks के साथ करें, so that आपको real time जो है वो funds मिल जाए, आपको wait ना करना पड़े कि आज मैं transfer करूँगा तो मुझे कल या परसों funds आएंगे. आप अभी करें, आपको अभी जो है वो funds वहाँ पर reflect हो जाएंगे. फिर आपके पास obviously local account में से तो use करने की you have hundreds of options. आप online pay कर लें, आप उनका card use कर लें, whatever.
That sounds good. I think यही total मेरे पास सवाल थे जो लोगों ने most commonly पूछे थे. Is there anything that you would like to say at the end of this video? Yeah, maybe like where can people stay in touch with Payoneer, especially अगर उनको like they want to know what's new and what's happening?
Yeah, of course. So we have a Facebook group. It's called Payoneer Pakistan Official. We have a very strong community there. हम लोग वहाँ पर जो है, maybe Khalil, one of these days we will take you live there as well, and we can have a conversation there. So yeah, we would love if you guys can connect with us there, and we're always open to feedback because we are here for you guys and improving the payment pains जो आप लोगों की हैं वो solve करने के लिए हम यहाँ पे हैं. So we're always very very open to feedback and very very open to ideas because हम webinars भी कर रहे होते हैं. We are also doing we are partnering up with different players, so your opinion really matters to us in that regard also. So yeah, and it is actually great to see how we are evolving as an industry, freelancing, and we would love to play our part here. And you are also playing a wonderful part, Khalil. So thank you for that, because we do need more people like you who can educate or anyone and everyone who wants to sit at home and earn with the ease. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Pa, for these kind words, and also for joining me for this interview today. और
It
उम्मीद
was
है आप
my
लोगों को
pleasure.
वीडियो
Yeah.
पसंद आई होगी. Likewise. So उम्मीद है आप सबको वीडियो पसंद आई होगी, और if you're still here and you found this useful, so make sure you hit that like button as well. It helps the algorithm make this video get more eyeballs. So thanks again, Afaf, or hope we can sit back sometime soon and also discuss other things about the future of Payoneer. Really excited to see Payoneer, especially government level pay, provincial as well as national. The new developments that are happening, especially with Payoneer at the forefront. So मेरी कोशिश होगी कि मैं सबको उस पर भी updated रखूं. Thank you so much again for joining, and hope you have a good day.
Thank you so much, Khalil. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.